welcome to Virtual Investor Conferences. On behalf of OTC Markets, we are very pleased you have joined us for our next live presentation from Nexe Innovations. Nexe Innovations is committed to putting the planet first. Their mission is to eliminate plastic waste by pioneering innovative compostable materials that break down and can safely be returned to the soil after use. Kindly note, the attendees may submit questions and view at presenters' availabilities for one-on-one meetings by clicking the questions and the book meeting tab in the top toolbar. At this point, I'm very pleased to welcome Cam Magget, Vice President, Investor Relations and Corporate Strategy of Nexe Innovations, which trades on the OTCQB venture market under the symbol NEXNF and on the TSXV under the symbol NEXE. Welcome back, Cam.
Thanks for having me. Good afternoon. As was mentioned, Nexe Innovations is an innovative sustainable solutions manufacturing company. We're based in Windsor, Ontario, on the US and Canada border. Next couple of slides, I have disclaimers. You can find our investor deck on our website at nexinnovations.com, or you can email me at invest@nexinnovations.com. So in a nutshell, our mission is to eliminate plastic. Through our vertically integrated facility, we manufacture sustainable materials that are better for the environment. Our first product is the BPI certified compostable coffee pods that are compatible with the Keurig coffee brewing systems. But that is just our first product. Today, I will walk through and highlight what makes Nexe unique. First of all, we can go head-to-head with plastic on our coffee pods based on price and performance. Second, we are vertically integrated. We can extrude and compound our own proprietary resin right through to the finished product. This helps us keep our costs low. It allows us to have better control over quality, and it allows us to mitigate supply chain risks. We also have a comprehensive IP portfolio. Just in 2024, we were granted 5 different patents. At Nexe Innovations, we're continuously doing R&D, and we're continuously looking at ways how we can improve our pod for the coffee pod market. And in recent months, we made some changes to the pod structure where we were granted a patent, which is now good for more than 19 years. So we naturally have a strong competitive moat for our compostable coffee pod. In the process of developing our pod, the pod had to withstand obstacles such as heat, water, and pressure. And during that process of developing the pod, we were able to develop a really good proprietary resin that we can now leverage and target additional verticals with. And finally, the pod is a very large market. Over 100 billion are expected to be produced by 2026. But then when we also look at other verticals that we're targeting, those verticals are much, much larger than the coffee pod market. I just want to take a minute to walk through our capital structure on the right-hand side. Our market capitalization is around 35 million today. We have about 104 million shares outstanding on a fully diluted basis. We have working capital of 14.3 million. Our cash as of our last reported fiscal quarter for the 3-month ended November is 14.5 million, and we have minimal debt. The debt we have of about 500,000 is an interest-free government loan, and our long-term assets are 20.2 million. This is book value. We own all of our assets. We own our Windsor facility outright, and we own all our equipment. Our Windsor facility alone is 54,000 square feet. So let's review our first product. Our first product is a BPI certified compostable single serve pod option. What does BPI certification mean? It's a certification that is issued by the BPI institution. It's basically a third-party verifier, an independent verifier that ensures that the product is compostable, can work in a composting facility within a certain time frame, and it makes sure that there are no toxic chemicals such as PFAS. There's a couple of things I would like to highlight to investors. The whole reason for composting is diverting food from a landfill, and coffee pods are the ideal target for a compostable coffee pod, because once a coffee pod does go through a brewing system, more than 80% of the pod is coffee and moisture. And it just makes sense to use it for a coffee pod because you are diverting food away from landfills. The second thing I'd like to highlight is we're one of the only hard bottom compostable coffee pods that can really perform against a plastic pod. Compared to the largest two players in the market, Keurig and Nespresso, we are ahead of the curve. Keurig announced that they would be introducing at some point a new product called K-Rounds, which is their sustainable version of a coffee pod. They made the announcement in spring of 2024, and we believe they are beta testing this pod. But to use this pod, consumers will have to buy a new machine, which will increase switching costs. Nespresso has introduced a home compostable version, and home composting is a lot harder. And given that single serve is, consumers purchase the single serve for more convenience, we think home composting is just more difficult. Also, it is paper-based, and that introduces more challenges. The single serve market is quite large. We believe that over 100 billion pods will be produced by 2026 on an annual basis. The overall coffee market is increasing by about 3 to 4% per year, and the single serve market is increasing by 7 to 8% per year. Sustainable solutions will continue to grow in importance. And that's what really excites us at Nexe Innovations, is because we have the technology and we have the infrastructure to develop sustainable solutions for different markets. And this is where our vertically integrated facility is really a competitive advantage. Also, as part of our vertically integrated facility, we built an in-house tool shop, which allows us to build prototypes at a fraction of the cost, and we can build them really fast. And that's a key that investors need to understand. We can introduce new products and scale quickly without making significant more CapEx investments. So at Nexe, we have been exploring new verticals. We have been developing and testing prototypes. As part of this process, we have been having conversations with key decision makers within different industries, and to figure out which vertical we should target next and how we should develop our strategy. Some examples of verticals include cosmetics, pharma, medical supplies, agriculture. There's just a lot of different industries that would benefit from our technology. So focusing on the next 12 months, in November, we announced 3 different partners, and all 3 partners, they target 3 different distribution channels. It targets retail, e-commerce, and office coffee services space. And we expect to continue to grow with these 3 partners. In fact, all 3 partners, we've filled repeat orders for them. We also expect to announce additional partners throughout 2025. And we are working on a compostable coffee pod version for the Nespresso Original line. And that is currently being tested by 2 different customers, and we're hoping to launch that near the end of 2025. And then, as I previously discussed, we're hoping to provide more details on the next vertical we plan to target. We do have a strong financial position. Our cash position is $14.5 million. Our burn rate is really low, and we don't need any significant CapEx investments. So we're really in a good position to execute on our strategy. And this is our team. Darren Foots is our CEO. He's the co-founder. Ash Galani is the co-founder who started with Darren, myself. I am Vice President of IR and Corporate Strategy, and our 3 independent board members. So I'll open it up to any questions that people may have. Okay, first question, how will US tariffs impact your business? Yeah, there's a lot of unknowns with what's going on in regards to US tariffs. That being said, the US market is very important to us. The single serve, there's about 80% of the single serve market in the US is K-Cup. There's about 40 million households that have a K-Cup compatible machine, and it's very fragmented across many brands. So we are working on a US strategy. We are having active discussions, whether we consider options such as licensing our technology or looking at JV-like type of arrangements. We are working on a strategy. Our goal is to scale quickly and earn a competitive ROI on our equipment, and the US is just going to be a very important part of the strategy. Okay, next question. What are other innovations you are working on? As I mentioned, we are developing prototypes. We are having conversations with key decision makers. It's important for us to figure out the right products to target, just like the BPI certified compostable coffee pod. It's a good solution for the materials we use. It does help divert food from landfills. So we want to make sure we find good fits. And we also want to figure out how to enter these markets, what kind of barriers we'll face, whether we enter them organically or through some kind of M&A strategy. We are working on our strategy, and once we finalize that strategy, we will communicate it to investors. Okay, next question. What can we expect for revenues in 2025? So this is a hard one to answer because we just started generating revenues in our fiscal quarter Q2 2025. We signed these partnerships in November, which is the last month of the quarter. And since then, we have been getting repeat orders from these customers. It's just too early for us to provide guidance at this point in time. And, we are hoping to add more partners in 2025, and there hopefully will be the impact of the Nespresso original line compostable coffee pods. But once we get into later in 2025, hopefully we'll be able to provide more color, but it's just too early to provide that kind of color right now. Okay, next question. What are you selling your pods for? That's another question that is difficult to answer right now, and it's probably not going to be very useful information because we are producing various SKUs for the different partners, and each SKU has a different amount of coffee in it and a different type of blend of coffee, which will impact the price. So it's not a useful benchmark to benchmark against other products or competitors at this point in time. And also for competitive reasons, we are only working with 3 partners. And once we have more partners on board and we have more scale, we'll be able to start providing some color around that and some average type of information that also protects our customers. Okay, so when do you expect to announce your first vertical product? Again, we're working on our strategy. Once we have our strategy figured out and we know which vertical we want to target, we will provide that information to investors and to the market. Can you discuss your sales and marketing channels? So we are targeting other coffee companies for our coffee segment. So we want to work with good partners that can that we can transition certain SKUs to our compostable coffee pod, and we can also grow with them. We don't not only want to take market share, we also want to grow the market as well. And that is our focus. So we're not selling our compostable coffee pods as a retail Nexe coffee in the stores. We're selling through coffee companies. We sell our product to them, and then they are selling either through a retail channel, distributing through the office coffee services space, or they're selling it online, and they are investing in sales and marketing. Okay, next question. Can you share? Okay. So it's hard for us to provide. The question is around if we can give the average size of delivery and how many pods we're selling. Again, it's too early to start providing that kind of guidance and that kind of color. But as we scale and we bring on more partners, we will start providing more data. We aren't providing any details on prototypes just yet, but we are developing and testing them. And once we have a strategy finalized, we will provide those details. And that's all I have for questions. Thank you for joining us and taking the time to listen to our story. Please, you can contact us at nexinnovations.com, or you can visit our website at nexinnovations.com.